We didn't get the invitation out very early there, Chris. Sorry about that, but
Oh, no worries.
it's
Okay,
all good.
we are definitely rolling.
This is
Yeah,
all good for it.
we did everything last minute today, so I apologize to everyone that's jumping in and wasn't able to jump in because they wasn't sure if we were going or not. But we've got Chris, we've got Randy, and you got me. So hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Beautiful.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Randy, you're in Calgary, and you have some stories to tell. You were at or nearby an anti-masking parade or campaign or demonstration. What was going on there?
Sure, we can start off with that. I'm going to do a little scan around so
Okay.
people can see. So that big building there is our city hall, where they let me in without any problems anymore. I just say, listen, you guys, come on. And they just let me go. And then you can see where they've got the cages up for the skaters. They cage them in, and then they have to stand in line because they only let in so many. I guess I don't know what that's all about, but you know what? These rules are all pretty ridiculous. But just beyond that, over where that old church is there, or not church, that's the old city hall, the original. They just finished doing that, redoing it.
Yeah.
So this area is where they'll start up these protests, and this one group comes out here every Sunday and puts on a barbecue and a feast for the street people, which is really nice. It's a Christian group, and they're always down here at least every Sunday, sometimes even more. So I ran into one of them at A&W. I was getting myself one of those little pies, and we had a big hug fest in the A&W with no masks on. We were just having a good old time. And the guy that ran the store, he was like, whatever. People are getting so fed up with this bullshit that it's just crazy now. But yeah, as I got down here, I came down what they call 8th Avenue as our promenade or whatever. There's no cars go there. It's a nice street over there, and it's where they will do marches and stuff. And this morning I was surprised. I didn't know what was going on. I haven't been to one for a while. They had about, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 protesters. So I kind of ran up to one of the cop cars that was following them, and there was like 2 cop cars, a paddy wagon in front, and the whole 9 yards, and bike cops and walking cops. And I got the guy that opened his window on his cop car, and I said, "What are they doing?" Like I was pretending I didn't know. And he says, "Oh, anti-maskers." And I said, "Oh, okay, I get it." And I said, "But it's funny, like there's almost as many of you guys as there is them. Are you going to lock them up afterwards?" And he says, "No." Then I walked away. I thought, okay, don't poke it too bad here. Just have some fun and then leave. But anyway, that's my little adventure in Wonderland today, or Looniverse. It's a beautiful day here in Calgary. We're probably 4 or 5 degrees above, as you can see by all those figure skaters. And the sun was out, but it's kind of behind some of those buildings now, Chris. So you got more raw than I do, dear. So what's up in Chris's world?
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, I'm just navigating through life, trying to understand where it's all going and what it all means and where my place is in it. So I'm just here to participate and hear what you guys have to say. It's all kind of new for me, so it's been an interesting year. I'm a nurse here in California, and the vaccine issue is really huge here. So especially and I've twice now refused. So it's standing my ground in a graceful way, I guess. The mask thing for me is a little bit different because I have to wear it for my job, but it comes off as soon as I leave. But it's an interesting little line I'm walking here because I'm in a hospital and I do see the cases. I do sense that it's something being perpetrated upon us also. So how do you navigate this duality? Sometimes it's interesting for me. yeah, so I'd be interested. I'm just interested to hear your perspective. I know the world's in the midst of a big financial transition, and I think maybe that's at the root of most of it.
So Chris, do you see, like, is there a lot of COVID patients in your hospital? Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
hmm
And what do you
yeah,
think? Like, do you think it's beyond the idea of a seasonal flu bug? Like it's
mm,
actually something that's
yeah. Maybe
more
a
than
little bit
that?
more, a little bit more than that. Yeah,
Yeah.
not a lot more, but a little bit more.
I'm
Um,
wondering too about the PCR test. Is that how most of them find out if they have COVID?
I haven't actually been tested. I know that there's a rapid test, which is not a PCR, and then there is the PCR, which is the gold standard, supposedly. I know there's a lot of legislation, um, going about saying that it's being misused. I know the PCR was never intended to be a diagnostic. It was mostly a science tool that got kind of, put into. PCR has been used for many years. It's not a new thing. It's just that used incorrectly, it can produce false positives. So, in Florida there was some legislation that went out that required each positive PCR to include the amplification data. So that's where you can produce more false positives when you over amplify. Because when you over amplify, you can find almost anything. An over amplified piece of a virus does not mean a person is sick or contagious or anything. So there's a sense that it's been misused. And it's only one part of the picture. And I think now, I heard the WHO, World Health Organization, you know, the day after Biden was inaugurated, that they have new guidelines that are going out. And don't quote me on this, but that that a positive COVID test is going to require symptoms and 2 positive tests. So that's a huge shift in their regulations. Like I said, that's not something I have verified myself, but that's going to, if that's true, that's going to completely shift the numbers.
Until
Yeah.
COVID-21 comes along.
Yeah, exactly. Well, viruses mutate. That's the way they work, and I don't know. I'm really interested to follow the investigations into the origination of this virus.
Yeah.
This thing, whether it was natural or man-made. That's what we need to find out. Because if it's man-made, whether it was accidentally released or purposely released, then there's an agenda. So that's what I'm in my line of work. It's obvious to me that it exists. I see it, whether they're falsely diagnosed, whether I don't know. I know there's something going on, but we need to find out why, because that might answer some questions.
So Chris, what about you know, um, the test itself? Are they going right in and touching the back of the throat, like with a long swab, or is it something you can just touch on your tongue, or how does the testing?
Yeah, I don't work I'm a neonatal nurse. So I work with babies. I haven't actually been tested myself, and I haven't. So I heard that initially they were doing that, but lately there's like a saliva test you can take, and but I think there is a test that does go way back. I know initially they were doing that at my hospital, but not so much now that I'm aware of.
Yeah, that one kind of bothered me. I mean, you see all kinds of weird stuff on the web, obviously, and I saw a thing where it wasn't actually a cotton swab. It had fibers on it that were,
Yeah, I saw that too.
that was nasty. I didn't like that, but
No.
But if it's just a saliva test, you can spit on something. Well, that's a different story. And
Yeah.
and the vaccine, I mean, who the hell knows? There's so many stories out there on that too. I'm a real earthy kind of guy who believes that, the sunshine and the
Me too.
fresh air and stuff is going to build your immune system, so that even if not, and I'm talking now more on the vaccine side, that vaccine won't even affect me, like, but that's my own little world. I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, there's DNA involved and stuff like that. And okay, like, we've got our choice to imagine and believe ourselves into whatever situation we want. But
Yeah.
your thoughts on that? You say your your immune system is because of your health as well. Is that the way you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm in very good health. I don't take any medications. I eat, organic food. And I want to keep it that way. It's my body, my choice. That's where I stand. All the other stuff is, all out there, but when it gets down to my bottom line, it's my body, my choice. And I don't want that infringed upon. So.
That's awesome. Awesome. It's nice to hear a calm voice in this, like you're inside the system, like I'm inside the banking system, and I know I'm not calm all the time, but it's nice to hear your voice and hear your perspective on, your job as a neonatal nurse. Like, I mean, you're right inside the hospital system, so I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome. Thanks for hearing my story. I mean, I'm not always calm, but I mean, maybe outwardly I am. I'm a pretty calm person, but inwardly, I mean, I get a little fearful, but I work on that. I know that fear is the choice at times, and so I have to reel it in and get myself grounded and centered a lot. So
yeah, and fear being, the mental aspect of what's going on here too. Like for myself, I think of these people that are keep getting the language shoved at them with signs and wording on the television and everything. That's as much to do with what's going on as the physical aspect, because I proved that myself by coming out of a liver cancer situation by just saying I think I'm perfectly healthy, and I started to change some diet and a few other things, but it was mostly thought, and I'm not saying we don't need the medical industry. Like, if we can find balance in it and find the good in it, just like we find the good in homeopathy or natural, procedures and stuff. But, if I break my bones, I'm going to go to the hospital, like it's that simple.
Right there with you on that. I know that our mind has a lot to do with what happens in our body. So we have to keep that higher vibrational thoughts going. And that's our body can heal with our mind too. So
I mean, it's go back to some spiritual stuff and say Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We can go into that and say physical, mental, and spiritual. There's always those three aspects to everything in life, and the physical might be the least. Like, I don't know for sure. It's just, to me, it's
I'm not sure either, but I feel that too. It's we sense a lot of things. What's that thing in the Bible that we see through a dark glass or a veil, or you sense these things, and trying to follow that inner guidance. It's not always clear, but it's there. So
it's there, and we just have to be very silent. And it doesn't mean we ignore what's going on in the 3D world or whatever. Like, you're right in it, and I'm right in it, and William's right in it. But we can decipher it better if we go inside, rather than taking information from outer sources, that whether it's alternative media or mainstream. Obviously mainstream isn't our choice, but well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's a good point you make, I think, Randy, about, well, first of all, about Christine's calmness. I think that does help probably more than any of us know when you're calm in a situation. Because right now, my perception of what's going on is that it seems like chaos is almost invited. It's sort of like, everyone seems to have different opinions and different beliefs and different understandings, because we're all getting different information from different sources from all over the place. And I think the one thing that's true is that none of us know the whole truth. And so that's probably the closest thing to the truth, is we don't know the whole truth. So it becomes more of a thing of, I feel anyways, stop trying to figure it out and just observe it, and just take it as it comes. And that calm demeanor helps a lot with that, because if you can stay calm and just say, okay, am I fine in this moment? Am I fine right now? Am I doing okay right now? Am I in any jeopardy right now? If I can stay centered, stay grounded where I am, then that gives me a healthier place to work from. If I'm like, I find on those days when I'm more emotional or more depressed or feeling a certain stronger emotion, it's usually because I bought into a certain belief system or belief of something outside of myself that doesn't appeal to me, or is creating some kind of reaction within me, that I'm choosing to make, because I know ultimately my reactions are my own. But I find that when I'm more of an even keel and I keep checking in with myself and saying, okay, in this moment, am I safe? That seems to be an always a good place to come from. I did hear it said once in one of the videos, and I watch a lot of videos, given that I spend a lot of time here from home, that it's almost like there's this if you want to go there, the dark forces or the people that are controlling everything seem to like having that energy of fear and confusion in our midst. And the more they can generate that, the more they feed off of it. So how much you want to take that as truth, who knows? But again, if you're in a calmer place, then you're not helping to feed that. So again, I think another positive there for sure.
Yeah, beautiful, William. And it is. I mean, it's obvious that the emotions are what, if there's a they, let's call it they, want to raise in us, right? And get that separation going, good and bad, right and wrong, all that kind of stuff, when there's really only one thing going on here, and that is perfection moving towards completion in the great mystery, which, I don't know, I've really caught on to that word lately. When I think of the word God, being Sunday now and all, we can talk about that, I guess, if you want. I don't care. But, the faith thing, I did a little video this morning on a what's his name? Kahlil Gibran quote that ironically I found on John F. Kennedy, used to be Junior, now John F. Kennedy, because it sounds like the old man quote. But on his site on Telegram, and it was such a nice quote, and I can't remember it now, but it was it relates to what we're talking about here about balance, and how that great mystery is what God is. Like, there's not an anthropomorphic deity, but there is a mystery of perfection moving towards completion, and that's within all of us. So the I am is you are I am. And all of our spiritual and mental through the governmental system has taken away from that aspect of reality and pumped in so much programming that it's really difficult for anybody, and obvious because most people are still walking around wearing masks, and it's sad. And all I think of that as is sad now. And if I see somebody without one, that's a big hug, like we're going at it, It's like, God, thank you, Or I love to see your smile. I can see you smiling at me, like we're missing that so much lately. But it's coming. We know we're going to get through this and everything. It's all perfect. It's just a matter of, I don't like to use the word time because now is the only time there is, but yeah. Do you see, like, Chris, on a spiritual level, where are you at with that? That's a kind of a maybe pointed question, but I'd like to hear it, I guess. It's Sunday after all.
It all, everything you said, I resonates really deeply with me. I mean, I'm been on a spiritual path that's been slowly unfolding, and so I had this recent kind of revelation about where God resides. And, I was, went to church for several years, about, I don't know, like 25 years ago. And I think in my subconscious, I've just had this idea of God is outside of me. It's an institution. It's separate from me. And I've recently come to realize profoundly that God it's found inside of me, not outside of me. And that has just shifted every dynamic in my life when I realized that I held that perspective without even realizing it, because then, that places something above you, and you're below, and it's a hierarchy, not a, and once you realize that God is, in here, that's where you look for your guidance. And it's helped me to not always look outside of myself for the answers, or to place other people above me. God's no gurus for me right now. I'm looking inside, and that's new for me. So I'm still trying to kind of sort out that I didn't even really do it consciously. That's where we get in trouble with allowing institutions, to own us, and to lose our sovereignty through having God outside of us. So yeah, so this is all pretty fresh for me, and it's huge. It's just it's a paradigm shift in my life. So it's allowing me to have permission to hear all sides, listen to all voices, and go with my inner guidance. What is my guidance inside me telling me about this situation, or this person, or this institution, or this rule, or this. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I'm living in the now, which, I've always been a big, planner, having to have it all figured out before I go forward. And it's not that way now. I feel someone used the analogy of being a surfer. I live on the Central Coast of California. So that really is relevant for me, about just in the moment. You've got to feel it in your body as each adjustment is required. You've got to be really listening to that body guidance, navigating these times. I have the sense that, that all of this stuff that's happening right now is kind of like I've had the metaphor of a butterfly, in somewhere in the back of my psyche for most of my life. And it's only been recently I realized that metamorphosis is kind of like what we're in right now. It's got to be the disintegration of it all in order for the new birth, or the new, I don't know what you guys think about, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, or what, the 26,000 year cycle, all that, just makes sense to me. I don't understand it all, but it makes sense. But we've got to go through this to come out into, the new, whatever that is going to be. I feel like I came here for these times, I've always sensed that since I was a little girl. I didn't know why I was here, but something inside me knew that I chose to be here. So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, yeah, it's great. I mean, William was talking about the inner too, and it's like and we keep adding to our learning, obviously, all the time, and there are outer information that I love to absorb and see. And Marty Leeds being one of my favorite guys to watch when it comes to spirituality and stuff. And he talks about logos being, another word for the Lord Jesus Christ. And then when I think of logos, I think of the word of God, but also logic, which is, when you get to common sense, that comes from inside. It comes from your own experience. It doesn't come from the outer, because who the hell's going to tell you what's logical that's besides yourself, So that's cool. Did Danusha come on, William? I think we got another participant, did we?
She's quietly observing, and she shares that with us. So if she wants to jump in, the door is definitely open, but I'm not pushing anybody in if they don't want to jump in right now.
Hello, I will.
All right, Danusha, nice rose. How are
Hello.
you?
Well, you can look at the road. Well, actually, I was just going to turn off the computer after watching a few videos, and I saw your email, because I didn't get it till just like whatever, well, literally 10 minutes ago.
That's
I'm sat here in pajamas, no makeup on, and not feeling full of good news. So I was debating whether to come on. I thought, oh, just click that button. They'll either kick me off or they'll be go away, bring some happiness here or not. So I'm not feeling too great. But I just thought I'd come on, see what you're talking about. And if I do talk, then I do.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, your picture looks rosy. So, I mean.
There you go. It's healing. Look at the rose.
Yeah, look at the rose. It'll always heal.
Absolutely.
It's amazing
Beautiful.
what flowers can do.
Absolutely.
Well, how can we cheer up Danusha if she's not feeling so good? We could talk about Princess Di being Melania. I don't know. What is that? Does that cross your mind, William? Like we could. I heard that this week, and I don't know. I'm like all over that one.
Well, you know, I definitely couldn't see it, but then I've been hearing so many crazy things. I'm going, I'm not throwing anything out. I'm just going to let it play out, and when it shows up, it shows up. But
Yeah.
the one other thing that you said in the video when you brought that up on your channel, Randy, was the resemblance of Lady Diana and Baron Trump. You know, I happened to see some pictures this week of Baron Trump kind of set next to Lady Diana on Telegram. And then I said, oh, I can see Randy's point. Yeah, I can see.
I thought it was cute. I mean, like when I saw Justin and Fidel Castro together, it was like, boom, instant. Like that's his son. There's no doubt about it. And the way Maggie traipsed around after the Rolling Stones, and why not? You know, Fidel's not too bad looking when he was young. So
Well,
anyway.
it wasn't Mick Jagger, so we're okay.
Well, he doesn't look like Mick Jagger. Oh,
No,
come on.
Does
Like,
not.
yeah, very similar to Fidel, though. So what do you think, Danusha? Are you not going to share, or you're just going to sit out and
What do you want me to share about why I'm not happy or about Princess Diana?
yes, Princess Diana and
Princess
her
Diana.
Yes.
I think right now, loads more distractions keep coming up to keep us focused. Or, oh, here's some more attention. Oh, flashing lights in this direction. Woo, woo, woo. And I'm thinking, I don't care, really. That's the reality. I don't care. If they arrive, great. They'll come and give us a song. If Michael Jackson turns up, whatever. I've not. That's just an outward view. I've not channeled them or connected with them. And I did do a Princess Diana channeling, and I've spoken to her energetically over the years. But to me, you don't have to have passed over to channel energies. You can channel anybody if they allow you into the frequency. So that's
We're all connected, right?
absolutely. So it's a living. It's like connecting with a tree. The tree's living. It's not passed over. It will give you information and dialogue and wisdom. So that's how I see it. So really, I just think it's a bit of a distraction again. And now I saw a little bit of your video, Randy, and you were on about JFK, and now he's passed, so it's JFK Jr. I thought, well, and Junior's now out, so it's JFK again. I thought, well, if they were both gone and they're still gone, what does it matter again anyway?
No, but you didn't hear the reason, because the old man died like 2 days ago. So then
Yeah, he died yesterday, 30.
Yeah, so they took the Junior off his name, because so the
Yeah.
new guy is not Junior anymore. He's just JFK.
I know it's just mental. It's like that's why I'm not sure, and I don't feel like connected with it. I'm just observing it. It's very interesting to observe.
Yes, that's a good way of wiggling out of this.
Nice point. I don't know. Don't shoot me. I'm gonna jump right back in again. But slightly different.
Boom.
The one thing that came to my mind when Danusha was answering my comment about, you know, we're all connected, so you can channel anybody literally.
That's beautiful.
The other thing that was kind of neat though is it made me think of I've seen, not in person but like on the telly or whatever, I've seen people I don't know if I want to call it channel, but they could definitely connect to animals. For example, they would say, what is your pet trying to tell the owner? And they were sort of the intermediary. And that's kind of cool, that the fact that someone can tune into the animal and actually share what the animal's needs are, that of course the animal can't quite communicate to the owner. So I've seen that. So,
Yeah, I do that. I've got a client tomorrow. I always say it's so easy because they haven't got all our complications. The attunement's so much easier, so much faster, and what they'll allow through. It's great. It's like with children trying to do meditations or doing past lives with children. It's playful, it's fun, it's so fast, it's brilliant. When you're doing like past life regression or hypnosis, if you want to call it, or connecting to any alien timeline, you've got to get in there through the nooks and the crannies and a bit more like separate a bit more of the mind. It might take another 10 more minutes. So different. Kids, literally 30 minutes off the plane again. It's great. I love it.
I might want to rope in Chris into this a little bit too, because we're talking about channeling or connecting to other beings within that same space. And I've got to imagine that I'm not sure if you've seen a lot of it in your part of where you work in the medical field, but there's all kinds of magical things that have happened in hospitals before too. Whether that's someone understanding what the child's feeling without the child even being conscious, for example, if the child's in a coma or unconscious in some way. What kinds of stories or things have you experienced or seen or heard of in where the area where you work? Have you ever encountered anything like that?
What do you do, Christine?
Oh, I'm a neonatal intensive care nurse.
Oh,
so
wow.
I care of newborns. But yeah, I mean, the whole concept of channeling is fairly new to me. I only like real exposure to it as I've watched some programs of there's a couple of programs where people go around interviewing channelers, and so I've listened to quite a bit of it, and it's really fascinating to me. My understanding is just that everything is frequency,
Yeah.
I don't always know how it works, but I've been in neonatal nurse for about 20 years, and without realizing it, I think, I've always been able to like calm babies with my hands, and I use that a lot. I've been called the baby whisperer by a lot of
beautiful
parents over the years, and this was, before my awakening. I just knew that I just did it intuitively, I can calm a baby just by touch. And I have a lot of conversations with them, when I'm holding them. I just tell them, you chose to come here at this time. What are you going to do? Go out and do great things. We just have these talks.
Lately, she's been saying, go back. That's not the time.
I just send them their mission, just be, I don't know why I did that. It wasn't something I was told. I was, like I said before, I really had any understanding of any of this. It just came naturally for me. So, yeah.
Oh, you sure found your spot. I'll tell you, that's awesome.
Yeah, I did. It chose me. Like, I don't know that I chose it. But yeah, at some point, I think because I'm not going to take the vaccine, I know that my days are numbered, there. So at first a lot of fear came up for me with that, because I've been there almost 20 years now, and I'm not quite ready for retirement and all that. The whole, thought my life was going one way, and now suddenly it might be going a totally different way. But I've had time to come to terms with it, and I'm viewing it now as an incredible opportunity to get into maybe a profession that's more in line with my true self. I'm working for a corporate medical institution that's not in alignment really with who I am. And if it wasn't for the babies and the families, I would have been out of there a long time ago, because it doesn't, yeah. It's like oil and water
Which
sometimes.
direction are you going in?
I don't know yet. We'll see. It's all just came up recently. You know, I wasn't expecting my career to possibly end so soon. So, but something energy medicine. You know, so
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
but I'm excited to get out of that pressure cooker. It's not a, yeah, it takes a lot out of me being in that environment. So it's an opportunity. So I'm looking at it that way. I don't know yet. I'm kind of busy right now talking to, in fact, I have to leave soon. I'm looking at, you know, possibly integrating with some intentional communities, you know, people that want to grow food and live close to the earth. And yeah, I'm kind of exploring that. And once I get myself into the place I want to be, then I'll see what opens up as far as what gifts I want to, you know, bring in to the world from this point forward. So it's unfolding. It's like I said, that surfing thing. I'm just, you know, just feeling the energy where it's guiding me right now.
Best way is just kind of being in the now again. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I don't always have all the terminology down or the lingo because this is all so fresh for me. But it feels real, and it feels like the reason I came into this plane of existence is for this time. So yeah, I don't
That's
know.
awesome.
So I don't know. I'm very shy. I'm an introvert. So this being, you know, this is a big deal for me to come on camera and talk to people I don't know. And but I'm, yeah.
Well, we're blessed.
Randy,
That's
your
all I can say.
heart and your outlook, you know, it's very real and it's fresh and I just, your perspective on life is just so important in these times. I just want to thank you for the energy you're putting out there. It's just like, it's contagious and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, talking about past life regressions, Danusha, and I don't know. Andrea said she's gonna when she has time. I don't know when she's got time. She's a busy girl, but do one of those. And I thought, I do a lot of meditation as it is, and I've gone in there awfully deep and found. At one point, I thought I was a monkey because I could see all these trees and everything. But now I'm thinking I was just a fucking tree, and that's it. Like I don't think I was another human before. I just think I was just a tree. What do you think, Danusha?
Well, that's the beauty about going deeper into the mind, and it's beautiful to use different people because everybody's got their own energetics and the way they use their tone and sound and the language, and or times of patience, or some talk faster, some talk slower. So it's really interesting that if you did do it and then you tried it with somebody else to see what came up. And it's amazing how much our consciousness blocks information or erases information, because we can only deal with so much at any given point. Whether that's say, for example, the ones I was just watching this evening was Simon Parkes. You know Simon Parkes?
Yeah.
So these are old videos going back about 10 years ago, and he did actually have a regression, but it's his times, talking about his experiences with aliens. And when he did have this other regression. So again, it's just wonderful to see that no matter what that beautiful grey matter contains, it's still, when you've got such a phenomenal universe with the galaxies and the dimensions, and we're part of it all, that there is information in there. There's always extra information in there.
Nice.
That I think is exciting.
What's really exciting is I'm staring into this rose, listening to you talk, and I'm thinking, yeah, like we could be other things. Like it doesn't matter. The voice is there, but all I can see is a rose. So what the heck?
That's my signature energy, that is. So when you stare at the rose, it is meditative, and it changes form. It's healing. Yeah.
Is it Danusha?
No, no,
Nice.
yeah.
I heard that that like rose essential oil is like the highest frequency like material thing in the world. Is that something you've heard too, or?
It's a very deep passion of mine, because it's historical and biblical in so many tribes and religions, and the rose is the purity of the heart.
Mhm.
And the flowering and the blossoming and the blooming and the smell, and it just really brings even the essential oils. Yes, they're beautiful, but looking at roses, when people have rose gardens, it comes in so many different ceremonies for different cultures and tribes, but it's always usually it's related to the heart and love.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And drinking rose tea, if you get whether you use fresh rose petals or if you can purchase them dried, putting them in tea and drinking that, it's even loving as you're drinking it. Well, I feel like that. Yeah, the power of the rose.
When I'm walking out here, I see those rose hips, you know, the little seed
Oh,
pods.
they're beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, because we have these, our provincial flower is the Alberta rose, and it leaves these things everywhere, you know. So I pop those in, and they're like supposed to be one of the highest concentrations of vitamin C there is. Just spit the seeds out and suck on it for a little while.
Do you? You have it raw? Wow, I thought that was toxic.
It was what? Are you
You eat it
suggesting that's
raw?
what's causing my mental disorder? Or what did you say? I heard
Yes, that's the reason.
Actually, very,
I'm gonna eat more.
the very
Have
first
a
time
bunch.
you said that, Randy, you shared a video months back when you went on the C train and you didn't have a mask on, and I think somebody from security or whatever asked you about it, and you said, "Well, I have a mental order." And I thought that's the perfect term. I have a mental order that doesn't allow me.
Oh,
I think it's a different word now, but I like that word order because you just cut out the word "dis" in front of it. People think that you missed it, but actually you didn't. And when it's order, it makes sense. Your mind is telling you, don't wear the stupid mask, man.
And I say it so loud now that, you know, people are so quiet and shy that, you know, they don't like disruption, right? So if they ask me at the door and I say it really loud, like, I have a mental order, I can't wear a mask. And they just cringe and let me go past, you know, like, it's like, let this idiot go. Like, don't cause a disturbance.
You might want to
You
cross
know
your eyes or something when you do it. That would be-
see, you're the person that I'd want to go on that train with.
Yeah.
He
He can say all this stuff, and then you just point at him and you say, "I'm with him."
Yeah, I'm looking after him.
I'm looking after him. I'm the one who balanced his brain.
He only let him out for short periods of time at a time.
Oh,
Oh, that's the most
Got
laughter I've
Danusia
heard out
laughing
of
now.
Danusia.
Got Danusia laughing now, so that's good.
That's right.
She can
I needed that. Thanks.
with some humor. That's great.
I remember watching the video when you'd come off the train. Oh, you made me laugh. That was brilliant.
Oh, well, we just got to keep having fun. That's it.
On one of our other previous group calls, we did mention, I think it was one of our first ones, Randy, after we got this channel started, we were talking about some of the gifts that COVID has brought us. And Christine's comment earlier made me think that it sounds like there's a gift coming for her too, based on what COVID has brought into her life. This is an open question to anyone, but have you noticed some gifts or some things that you've received because of COVID that you wouldn't have expected to come your way?
You guys go first. I got one. Okay, I'll go first. They call it COVID relief. It's like $2,000 a month, and it's been coming ever since last March. I'm the richest I've been since I last lost $1 million assets and more. And that's the most money I've ever had in the last 5 years. So there you go. And I'm still collecting it, $1,800 a month. They decided to take $100 off for taxes. Idiots. But whatever. That's my gift. $2,000 a month, or $1,800 now a month in COVID relief.
I get it. I'm with you there. Chris,
I have to get going in a few minutes, but I'll just end with this. You know, it's a two-sided thing, like you said, but there's been so many gifts. You know, just this opportunity to quiet life down, you know, slow down and just reevaluate that all that really matters in life. And a real major gift for me was that my son we kind of got stuck together when we first did the lockdown thing, and at the time our relationship was a little bit strained, not a little bit but a lot, you know, from just years of kind of, you know, not understanding each other, and we got locked down together, and during this time we've just like completely healed our relationship. So that's been a real tangible gift, but there's many more subtle things that have come out of it that I see happening in the world. You know, people re-evaluating what's really important in life, and so there's a lot of downsides, but a lot of really beautiful things are coming out of it too. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, Chris. And thanks for gifting us with your presence, because that's the big thing too, is that presence, whether it's your son or just the group of us meeting each other, you know, that's been a hell of a gift, you know, just that presence.
Yeah. That's been amazing, meeting people all over the world.
Yeah.
So speaking of, I do have another Zoom call that I have to be on at 3, but I saw your email and I wanted to come by and say hi. Hopefully this won't be the last one. And,
nope. Okay, we'll see you again.
See you soon. Thanks, Christine.
All right.
See you, Chris.
Bye.
Yeah, we're probably
in a row. Look at that.
We're probably about done anyway, aren't we?
I don't know. Is Danusha sleeping yet?
No.
But she needs to go get some rest.
Is that doctor's orders?
Don't you start. I can write prescriptions too, you know.
No, my sleep pattern has been erratic for the past year. Well, past few years, but it's been especially erratic.
Yeah.
So sometimes it doesn't matter. Just even the past couple of days, it doesn't matter how tired I am physically, mentally, energetically. Me endocrine and electric system is on full plug. So, yeah.
And do you get even a regular amount of sleep, even though it might be all over the place as far as time of the day?
No, I've just got used to it. Whether it could be you have 2 hours and I'm awake for 6, and then 2 hours again, or I have 4. I just observe my body and I do what my body requires, really. I've just got used to doing that for quite a few years now, and it has got a bit more intense over the past 6 months. And just adapt to it. My body's telling me what it wants to do, so I'm just doing what it wants.
Have you been getting any messages or thoughts about what might it be coming from? Like it could be anything from like spending too much time in front of the computer to, you know, to the change in the equinox, you know, the energy.
Yeah, definitely out to energies. If you want to call it the Schumann resonance, picking up the anxiety of consciousness, the change, the fluctuation, my energy's changing. If people use that word ascension, which I'm not a lover of, because it's an extension of ourselves and us extending ourselves more than ascending.
Right.
I'm used to me, put it that way. And because I'm on my own, I'm not disturbing anybody, so I can do what I want when I want. There's nobody about.
Yeah, and used to me, that's a good phrase there. And it resonates with me on that front because for 30 years I was outside, feeding cattle and doing things all day long, and then I'd play myself out and go to sleep. Once I got into the city, it was, what the hell am I going to do now? So I started this walking routine, and I walk every day, for hours, and then I sleep pretty decent. I still not as much sleep as I used to get, but it's decent anyway, just by feeling what's me, like you say, Danusha. That's the key.
Well, it's where you can program your brain. We get into these patterns. So I was writing a speedy book back in, when was it? I did it for 5 weeks. It was literally, I wrote a book solid, which books can take anywhere up to 2 years. By the time you've written it, you edit it. But no, I did it in 5 weeks. So my energy was telling me, when I've written books in the past, I might wake up before dawn or an hour before sunrise, and your energy, because it's still in that wave of pattern connecting with the moon energies as well, you're more in a deeper state, so you can journal better, you can still connect. So it's literally just get up and just write, and it's just an easier way for the internal energy to come out. So I was always better at channeling those particular books. So this was different. I weren't channeling it was writing somebody's story. So I'd never written somebody else's story, and I just followed my instincts each time. And after the first week of doing it, the usual wake up, you could sleep, or what little sleep I had, and then trying to squeeze everything in the day, my energy changed. I had to wake up about 2:30, 2:45 in the morning, and that was it. Boom, I'd be at it solid till like 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, and then it was literally I had to shut that, stop then. But I just realized I reprogrammed my brain, because I would normally, you might get up, maybe put music on. Some people do yoga, some people have a green tea, some people have a coffee, and you get in the pattern. Then you might meditate, then you think about your day, or you might go to work, whatever that is. But I reprogrammed my brain. It was like, no, we need to get up and work. So by that point of my normal of getting up, if it was, say, for example, 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I've already done 3-4 hours of work. I've not had a hot drink. I've just sat there and I've motored through. And the energy that was just coming through was just phenomenal. So I did that solid for a month. And then I might then, cave in by 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, and then relax, do whatever, and then start again. But it was just amazing to see. My brain's stunned. It's like, what's going on here? And my body's like, oh, but you've not eaten and drank at this time. But I was fine with it. So yeah, it's just like, again, we reprogram. We can program ourselves.
For sure. 100% agreement on that one.
Well, Randy, I think I'm feeling it. How about you?
Sure, that's good.
Danusha,
Beautiful.
any final thoughts about anything you'd like to share?
Well, I don't know, really. Do you want to hear a depressing story?
Okay.
Or should we end on a depressing story, or should we send it out with a love and light? Well, there's always love and light, but I suppose
transform it at the end.
Pardon?
Can we transform the story at the end, or add a little cherry on top of it or something?
Okay, then maybe. Well, it's the real, like, that's what you started with. It's the reality we're in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where I am at. When you have got family members, as we know, they're not there, then you can only do what you're doing. So basically the current situation is, my mother is 93. I'm going to give a quick breakdown. Second World War. She's not been a happy lady for many years. She's lived her life, but for the past, I would say 8 to 10 years, she doesn't want to live. So she used to only tell me that. It's like, I want to die. I want to die. My dad, I always seem to be this falling over shoulder, even though they didn't speak to me in other ways. But my father was the same before he passed 12 years ago. He would always do it 2-3 years before. It's just like, I want to wake up. I would just want to go to bed and never wake up. That state of mind for their life, what they were going through. So my mum's been like that for years. Sadly, she was basically end of line 4 years ago or 3 years ago. It was very, very traumatic. And then she recovered, being put in this care home. Too long a story. I don't want to go into it all because I'll probably bore everybody as well. But 2 days ago, we heard that, oh, she's been taken to hospital. So when I spoke to like the care home people, basically what had happened in the long story is that 12 days ago, she had a COVID vaccine. It's like, who gave that permission? I said, when I spoke to you in September and October, I said, it's not that easy because there's me and my sister who's deeply close. And then we've got 2 other siblings where it's totally opposite. We don't communicate. There's, it's just good job we don't communicate, basically. We're not on the same wavelength at all, very opposite in everything. But they're elder and they like to be in control, should I say. So my mother lives about 5 hours away from me. So obviously, long story, I'm literally, what I'm doing right now is I'm detailing every single conversation, every single thing. So it's taken me back to all the times with my dad. It's taken me back to the amount of hours I've spent in hospital with my mum and over the decades. And we're back to square one, where she wants to die. She doesn't care about anything. Nobody's listening to her. Oh, have you had that soup? Have you had your soup? Or she'd drown in the soup if it were big enough for the bowl. Do you know what I mean? It's just this 3D world where they're trapped and they want you to be trapped in with it. Well, I don't. So I have spoken to a couple of nurses and just saying, well, it's not good. It's just not good. She's had that vaccine. She's 93 years of age. It's unsafe. It's been pumped in her body without any permission. Oh, well, the doctor would have, sorted that. Oh, yeah, what? Because his surgery got paid for it? Great. Well, thanks very much. So it's looking at it. I won't go on about it, but people know this awfulness. And I know I've got a bigger story to tell. If she comes out of this, I'll fall over. I can't hope for it to pass. I don't wish for it to pass. Her choice to leave this planet. All I can do is if there's anything manipulating her energy field, keeping her here, or I'm working on that and just connecting that. She will leave divinely when she's meant to, and nothing will stop that, whatever they're trying to interfere and any negative energies. But it's just all I'm looking at now is trying to have phone calls with robots repeating the same things, shoving loads of cocktail of tablets down her where they don't know what's wrong with her. And she only went to hospital because she had pains in her chest and under her arms. So she's very frail. She lies down most of the time. There's nothing to her. And she's 93. She's had a COVID vaccine. Then they give her 2 lots of antibiotics. Then they're giving her blood thinners. It's like, why are you doing that? You don't know what's wrong with her. Well, we can't give her a scan. Because we can't give her a scan because her kidneys are too weak and her liver's not functioning. Well, what do you think a scan's going to do? It's like, who's going to wake up here? And there's part of me wanting to run in, which I know is not going to happen because I won't, to run in and steal her away from it. But I know she doesn't want that. And then it would be a big fight and a big battle with the other 2 siblings that are very opposite to anything to me and my sister, where me and my sister go and grab her, stuff the lot of her and take her out. So obviously I know I can't do that. It doesn't matter what I want. So I actually did get a moment to speak to my mum tonight because I spoke to the nurse before. Oh yeah, she's fine. Oh yeah, she's got no pain. Yet 2 days ago, paramedics brought her in because she's in pain. Anyways, so nobody seems to know what's going on because they don't. You can't go and visit. So it's just all crap. So literally 2 minutes or 5 minutes after I spoke to this nurse, and then I'm speaking to my mum, and she barely could speak. They've given this 93-year-old woman a mobile phone and left her with it, which was good to one extent because she's I'm one that she will always express how she's feeling. And she just said how much pain she's in with the kidneys. The scan, she said she was screaming in pain. It's like, it's almost like, oh my God, is this a concoction of drugs in her brain making her think this? Is she acting it out? Because nobody's telling me anything. And she was so distressed, and she just kept saying, I'm in so much pain. I just want to die. Why can't I die? I was like, Mum, if I could get you an injection, I'd do it. I would. I'll give you your wish, Mum. But anyway, she was distressed, turned the phone off. I rang straight away the nurse, and I said, you said to me she wasn't in any pain. I said, but my mum's just said to me different. She said, oh, well, she does. If she doesn't tell us that, I said, well, she won't. She's 93 and locked in her ways. She won't speak to anybody but her family, but you tell me her family can't visit her and hold her hand and stroke her hair, because we would tell you what was wrong with her, not you telling me what those blood tests are telling me. I would tell you what's wrong with her. And then I just said, you know, it's just not on. So I did talk a little bit more, and I just said, what is the process here? So you did a scan and what? The kidneys may be failing right now. So what process do you have in place that you can honour family coming to visit or stay? She said, oh, well, you know, maybe you could pop by to. I said, I can't pop by. I live 5 hours away. I said, that's why I want to know if there's a process. I don't want to get a phone call to tell me, oh, she's taking her last breath. Oh, right, thanks. So she said, oh, if it gets of end of line, she said, oh, you know, then you can have one visitor. Oh, for fuck's sake. So I did. I said it, Randy. You got me swearing.
Jeez.
It's this is the reality. This is the shit that we keep seeing. We keep hearing the stories, and it's happening to my mum. It might be a godsend and a blessing that she does get to bloody go, you know, in a way. But who knows? Nobody knows. All I can do is let my emotions move through, whatever they are, whether I feel moments of helplessness. It's not really helplessness, but it's like I'm helpless with the system. I'm helpless with them saying to me, oh, you can't come in without a mask on. Have you had a test? Oh, really? You know, there'll be times where I'm peaceful and patient and I'm calm, and then there's times like, get out my way. That's my mother.
Oh, God.
So yeah, so I'm not, that's why I just felt like, oh, I'm just not, shall I come on? Shall I not come on? But it's true. So whether she survives another 24 hours, who knows? Whether they suddenly put her on the end of line, who knows? But I'm glad that I had the opportunity to say to a few nurses and the people in the care home about the vaccine. It is unsafe, it is untested, and we are the guinea pigs. So why has that been given to her without any consent from the family?
Well, that touched my soul. And I know, you know, and you know, Danusha, that now we're connected to Mom. And it's like, that's all we can do is just feel that love and feel that energy inside of us. And, you know that she's love. And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, yeah. Because if we bring our emotions into it, you know, like, so I think it was Andrea said one time, I care so much that I don't care. And I know that that's how I may come across sometimes, as, you know, compassionate as hell, but no sympathy. But when you got empathy, it's there and it's unavoidable. And that story just brought the empathy in me. And I mean, for you and Mom, Danusha, I love you and I love her. And that's the only words I can think of is love.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And that's it. So I know when I go in the emotional state, I'm doing nothing but just being sucked into the evilness in observation. I know I'm going to write a book of the process of dying, because people just don't talk about death. Yeah, death is shunned away, what death means, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a humongous experience that we might have to experience. I've actually passed over a few times. I know what it is to die. That had to be my experience this lifetime. I'm not saying it weren't pleasant when it were happening, and it certainly weren't pleasant afterwards. but it came in different scenarios when I was leaving my body. But I had to experience it. I've had to experience so much death, and not just the physical body of death, but death of materialism. And it doesn't mean, oh, I've just lost my money. You know, you've talked about that. It doesn't mean I've just lost my money, or I've got barely anywhere to live, or I can't buy any food or put any heating on. Or it's not just that. It's I've been through deeper depths where they've pushed me so much. And it's like to the point of I can walk out this house with a rucksack on my back and I don't care. Those depths of attachment, they are like, I suppose if you want to call it Indian, Ayurvedic, that it's that energy where you learn to, when you lose the attachment, that you even more realize what death means, that it still means nothing. So even though I'm feeling my heart because of my mum, I know that I'm in bed and I'm laughing when I've got energies coming in trying to be negative, or, you know, thank you for the beautiful energies. And I just laugh. And it's like, you can't take anything from me. I know what had happened to my body. And if you tried to do anything to me anyway, they'd throw me straight back and heal me fast anyway, because you can't take my essence. I know who I am. And that is the power. And that is what the evil don't want you to have. Even if you laughed in the face of death, because they can't take it from you, your soul and your essence and your belief in the consciousness, and knowing that they are powerless. They are nothing in your eyes, your beliefs. So it's so powerful. So yeah, so it's interesting when I talk and you feel that density of emotions, because that's the reaction of the 3D reality.
Yeah.
But I know way more past that. I know the minute she passes what will happen to my physical body, and that I don't need anybody to give me a phone call, but I'll know. I know that she'll tell me the true story. If they said to me, oh, she died at 10 o'clock peacefully, I'd go, Mom, what happened? She'll tell me what happened.
Yep.
And that is the beauty of us as souls, and that love that they haven't got a clue what it is, and they hate that in us. And when I say they, that is the evil that keep us. Well, they've done a bad job, haven't they, really? If you look at the reality, after all these decades and thousands of years, they've done a crap job with all the crazy, phenomenal ideas they had and the plans. They've not done too good, have they? We're looking at them dropping, going, yeah, you didn't do that too well. How resilient we are. It's phenomenal, isn't it? We are so resilient.
Fucking right. We are resilient, my darling. Thank you for that.
Danusha, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh, you're so welcome. I love you both. Big hug to you both. Thank you. And thanks for the laughter. I really needed that.
God bless. Take care, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.